Rango sits. Sits. Rango sits. Sits. Rango sits. Rango sits. William, no, 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 no. Rango, no, no. Let it out. William, Lucy. William, Bruce. Yep. Rango. William, Bruce. Can't control these anarchist dogs. Jerry, no. Jerry. Lara, yeah. Lara. Lara. Jerry, no. Jerry. Jerry. Jerry always causes problems. Yeah. A lot of workers here. They're building a house right beside us, building a house down the road. And Jerry's always got to bark and get everyone all excited. Anyway, so yesterday was Independence Day. And a person who's a Facebook friend of mine, Emily Lance, who I'm pretty sure is an anarchist from everything I've seen from her, decided to pee on the US flag. So I'll see if I can throw it in. I'll see if it's, I think it might have got taken down or something. But I'll see if we could throw it in here. Anyway, if I didn't throw it in, that means I couldn't find it, which means it was taken down. But basically it was her using some sort of female stand-up pee device to pee on the US flag. I believe it got over 1 million views. And a lot of hate. And this goes to my point that I kind of had yesterday about it, people being, statists being in a cult. She had people, apparently there's one person who even put a hit on her on Craigslist in her area for $3,000 for someone to kill her. This is quite actually fairly normal with statists, especially American statists. They're the worst. Judy, 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 Ben, Judy, Judy, Ben. Yeah, I don't, like, Canadians are pretty bad, but nothing like Americans. I pointed out Josh Sigurdson did his taxation theft thing on Canada Day, which was a few days ago. And yeah, the cops came after him, of course, and a lot of people got really angry at him. Of course, as statists, they're in a cult, right? Anyone who's ever looked into cults knows when you kind of go against the cult, if you're in the cult, or at least they think you're in it, or they assume you're in it because you live in a certain area, that when you go against the cult, they'll really react violently against you, because their brain's telling them that you're, going against what they believe in, and it's like something they super believe in, like to the point of death, so they will kill you if you go against it. And that's what Emily Lance found out yesterday. Her father also, apparently, who has nothing to do with her, really. Like, he's not an anarchist, he's a statist. He's a flag worshiper. He's been targeted at his work. His work's been targeted. So, this goes to my point. These people are just indoctrinated into a cult. And it's very dangerous. And it's kind of funny because they don't even know why they're so angry, because if you talk to a lot of them, they're like, how could she pee on our flag? Our flag stands for the best country in the world and freedom. Well, if it actually stood for freedom, then you wouldn't be sending people to kill her. for peeing on a piece of cloth. Because if there is freedom in the US, then that would be allowed. In actuality, it is allowed, I think. I don't think it is illegal yet. I'm sure it probably will be soon. Almost everything is illegal in the US. I'm surprised that one isn't. But as of right now, it isn't. So a lot of those people who think, and you saw a lot of people, of course, what's the one thing statists always do when they get upset? We need more laws. And laws are basically, we need to force people at gunpoint to do what we want them to do. For all those people, they should all move to North Korea. North Korea, they have very strict laws about disrespecting or desecrating or doing anything they don't want you to do to the flag. So that should get some of those statists thinking, wait a sec, what I want is what they have in North Korea, and I'm saying we should bomb. See, they don't, that doesn't make any sense. They're just completely brainwashed. They don't even know what they're talking about. It makes no rational sense, anything they're saying. And a lot of them will say, yeah, we should bomb all these countries. Because, want to see this? Because they're evil. It's like, what? I even got into a little bit of a problem with a Canadian statist the other day on Facebook. Apparently some guy who was thrown into Guantanamo Bay torture camp for, it looks like nothing, but who knows? Who knows when it's government, right? But apparently, and Justin Trudeau, the crime minister of Canada, apparently they gave him like a big settlement, like $10 million or something, for being tortured for like 10 years. Sounds like a decent thing, settlement. Still not worth it, being tortured for 10 years. But one guy was flipping out. He's like, oh, they should throw him and his entire family into Guantanamo Bay. And the guy wasn't even bringing up that the guy did anything. He was just like, they're evil. Because and he said, they try to kill our troops. I was like, what are your troops? Like they're yours. Like they're brainwashed. What are your troops doing in Afghanistan with a bunch of guns? No wonder they're trying to kill your troops. I would too. If your troops, your Canadian troops, or your American troops, or any of your troops, even the Mexican troops, if they come into my neighborhood with some guns and they're trying to like do stuff to me, yeah, they're gonna get shot. I'll probably get shot too, but that's gonna happen. But yeah, they're just such a cult. And there's literally like hundreds of millions of them in the US. And you know, this whole what were they celebrating? Independence Day. Independence from England. Which the whole story was, and who knows how much of it's true really, but because you can't trust anything that you've been told. Anything. And nothing in history books, nothing from the mainstream media, nothing from government, nothing from most people even. Buenos dias. Lucy! Lucy's scared to come down here. Maybe she's scared of those dogs. Lucy! Alright, we won't go this way then, Lucy. Alright, let's go this way. Yeah, so 1776. Apparently the whole story was England was going to put a tax on tea. And I think the tax was like 3% or something. And that was it. There was no income tax, there was no capital gains tax, there was no alcohol tax, there was no nothing. There was zero tax. And they were going to put a 3% tax on tea, just tea. And people flipped out and they went nuts and they started killing all the government people, which is awesome. Really like that part of the story. Great. And I totally see why you would totally celebrate that day. However, then a different group of guys took over. And now there's like 50% tax and everything's taxed and the entire country's a police state. So what in the world are you celebrating? They don't know. But they're just indoctrinated. The stuff's on television programming. It's called programming for a reason. It's literally mind control, brainwashing. If you have a television and you're still watching it for any reason, I suggest you just turn it off. It actually is doing things to your mind. I can't watch, I haven't had a television that, like I have the internet, and I'll load up some videos of certain things I want to see that were on television, like you know, something that CNBC said or something, so I can make fun of it because they're idiots. But if I even see it in the US, if I walk by it in an airport, CNN, my heart starts to race. Because it's meant to get you into a fear mode. And that's, so those, you know, the people in the US, this is in many countries as well. Canada's really bad as well. Mexico's not as bad. That's why I spend more time here. Here, Independence Day is a lot about, you know, fuck the government. It's not completely like that, but it's a lot more like that. Like people will. What is this? Where did Lucy go? Oh, there she is. She's so small, sometimes I lose her. Then where did Jerry go? Did Jerry take off? What is this? Where did Jerry go? Man, it's busy. All these people building new houses. This Mexican economy, you know, it's so bad. There's a lot of activity going on here. I think I lost Jerry, but he probably ran away. Maybe they saw a dog somewhere. I'm sure we'll find him at some point. But yeah, so these people get really upset when you. I saw one person say about it. Oh, this came from some person who calls himself an anarchist. Pretty sure he's not. He calls himself a right anarchist. This whole left-right thing, it's always left-right. People got to get, anarchy has no left or right. There's either you don't aggress against people or you do, and that's it. And that's why I don't get involved in all these left-right stuff. About one guy who calls himself a right anarchist, he said, he actually pointed her out and he called her he goes, "This is why I hate left anarchists." I was like, left anarchist? What does that even mean? And he's like, that flag actually represents my people. It doesn't represent the government. So he's trying to talk like he's an anarchist here. And he's like, it represents my people. And she is disrespecting my people. So this guy has 315 million people. That's a lot of people to have. I don't know how he has all that many people. How do you get that many people? So he's obviously confused. But so, you know, a lot of these people are still brainwashed. Still missing one Chihuahua. Actually, I'm missing a bunch of dogs now. Lara, Rango! Try walking with anarchist dogs, it's like complete chaos. Lara! Just don't listen to authority. Let's go find them. Oh, there he goes. There's Rango. Lara? There's Lara. Alright. Yeah, they'll come when they're ready. But yeah, so this person was trying to make the claim that this represented his people. And there's 300 million of them. And he thinks it's really sick that she would disrespect those people by peeing on a piece of cloth that was made in China that has certain colors on it that trigger him. Now, of course, a lot of these people that are on the right, they always make fun of the left for being triggered all the time. Well, that guy just got triggered. Massively triggered. How do you get triggered by a piece of cloth? Like, there's not one piece of cloth you could pick out. I don't care what design's on it. Could even be like my face. or, you know, or some crazy design with all the different colors I don't like. And you pee, Lissy, Chris, Lissy, and you pee on it. You're not going to get much of a reaction out of me. I'd be like, oh, this is weird that he's peeing on a piece of cloth for no reason. So, yeah, these people are all different levels of brainwashed in a cult. Our culture, but it's a cult. I'm learning more about words, by the way. I've had some people say etymology and all this. But I think there's a hidden etymology going on. Like, think about it. Right now it's the morning. What other meaning is there for morning? English seems to have a lot of double meanings for a lot of words. Spanish doesn't have that I've noticed. So the morning, when else do you have a morning? After someone dies, right? And what do you do when you get up in the morning? You wake. When else do you have a wake? At a funeral, right? And you wake up to start your week. What's another way of saying week? You're not strong. Like, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on with our language and what people are just, we're all just brainwashed, and we're all helping to perpetuate it, even just by using the language. So I don't know how we get out of that. We just be more aware of the words, I guess. But first we just gotta wake some people up to how brainwashed they are, and that's hard. That's almost impossible. It is possible, but it just takes time. So for example, a lot of people say, well, she shouldn't have done it. You know, got a lot of people upset. Well, people are gonna have to get a little upset. I'm sorry, all the snowflakes out there, all you alt-right or you status snowflakes, you can't handle. You know, I can't handle being extorted for half of my money every year. I can't handle being kidnapped all the time and put into rape camps because of the thing that you want, your system. So maybe you guys can handle just maybe every now and then someone peeing on your piece of cloth. Sorry to, you know, upset you, but you know, I can't handle all the wars that you guys totally support. Many of you outrightly support, and even the ones who don't, you are, through paying the extortion fees, paying for some of the most evil stuff in the world. So sorry if you don't like someone peeing on your flag. That's not the worst thing. There's people being bombed right now because of you. A lot of you like it. You're a lot of evil people out there. I don't think they're evil, like that Canadian guy. Oh, I said, what the hell are the Canadian troops doing in Afghanistan? He said, fighting evil. I said, they are evil. That is the definition of evil. Going somewhere for no reason and killing people. Like, that's how brainwashed. So you can't really talk to these people. But I think it's good that people like Emily put this stuff out. Had over 1 million views. It's clear that a lot of them were not anarchists who saw it because there were so many people upset. So, and I saw a lot of anarchists posting great dank memes in the comments. They're all the kinds that make you go, wait a second, like, fought England in 1776 over a 3% tax. Now 30% tax, no problem, right? Just little things that, you know, if a statist sees the peeing on the flag and they get all angry, they go to the comments, and most of the comments are actually supportive of it and have some really good, easy to understand, because they've all been in government indoctrination camps, so they don't know how to think. So like really simple, easy to understand little memes. That's great. That's how we can change things. You know, I would just estimate that 90% of the people who saw that, it's not going to change what they think. But I would say 10% will probably have some thoughts, and it's probably because they've heard it before. And so it's sort of like these people really go with the crowd. They seem to think whatever the crowd thinks, that's the right way, right? Which is the exact opposite of what you should be thinking, really. But that's what they think. So if they see and hear that enough, they're going to go, wait, maybe I haven't thought about this completely. You know, if they still have some ability to think, which most don't. Government indoctrination camps for 12 years, fluoride in the water, vaccinated, pumped full of mercury. Most people have fallen for the alcohol trap, so they're just drinking all the time. They can't even think, getting all angry, all aggro. But a few of them might be able to think still. And, you know, it helps. You know, all this stuff helps. Is this the best way that we can get our point across? Probably not. But you never know what's going to actually work and what's not going to work. I was surprised when I heard she was going to do it. I thought, okay, whatever. Like, it really didn't interest me at all. It was like nothing really all that interesting. and then it got like 1 million views in a couple hours. So obviously that struck a nerve, and maybe it got some people thinking. Great, awesome. We need some people to start thinking. I'm still missing Jerry. He must have ran home. All right, we're down to 4 dogs. But yeah, cults, you live amongst a cult, and they're dangerous, like highly, highly dangerous. So that's why I prefer not to live amongst those people. You know, a lot of those same people who are really celebrating Independence Day really think Mexico is horrible and dangerous, and just a horrible place. Well, I'm here right now. Much prefer, so much happier to be here than anywhere in the US. So much freer, so much nicer. People aren't that brainwashed that they will try to kill you if I peed on a Mexican flag. I think a lot of people would laugh if I did it here. That's a lot more my kind of people. So I live amongst more like-minded people. Everyone who lives in my area is an anarchist. And that's only half my fault. There was already a Mexican family here. We ended up moving, and they were right next door, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's the Dollar Vigilante." I was like, "Oh, hi." And they're like, "Yeah, we're anarchists. We love your work." These Mexican people. And I was like, "Oh, wow, that's great." And then an anarchist who moved here, when he came to the first in Acapulco, he moved into the house next door. So, like, the whole street is anarchists. So, we don't have those kind of problems around here. And, you know, that's my suggestion again, is to a lot of people, if you're really frustrated about living amongst brainwashed people, just get out. It's so much better everywhere else that I've been. Like, the last place that I enjoy going, really, is the US. Actually, no, I'll change that. Cuba and Venezuela suck. Like, even worse than the US in many ways. Right now. They didn't used to, that's the sad part. Venezuela used to be great. I was there 10 years ago. It was much better than the US. Then they got into communism. That changes a place pretty quick. And the US is becoming very, very communist now, obviously. But yeah, other than Cuba, Venezuela, I haven't been to North Korea, so I can't say anything about it. And I don't think anyone should ever say much about any place they've never been. And I hear that all the time about Mexico. I hear Americans tell me how bad it is. I'm like, "You ever been here?" They're like, "No." Like, these people are just, they can't think, brainwashed idiots, and they're fluoridated. Like, and many of them are on like these very dangerous drugs. It's funny because a lot of them are in favor of the war on drugs, which is a war on the good drugs, like marijuana. And then they're on all the worst drugs, which are like the opiates and OxyContin and Adderall and Xanax and Viagra. Not Viagra. Viagra's not bad. Starts with a V. Something to make you happy, or supposedly happy. Kind of like just turns you into a zombie. Well, all those antidepressants anyway. So they're on drugs, but they hate people who are on drugs, but the good ones. You can kind of see what's going on, right? Like, they're just absolutely insane. So I would suggest just getting out of there, really. And it's going to get worse. It's going to get so much worse. The U.S. This is what I talked about, the Dollar Vigilante. The U.S. government is massively indebted. It's going to collapse. $20 trillion in debt now. It's doubled since 2008. More than doubled now. More than doubled since 2008. Interest rates have been artificially held low for decades. That has to pop at some point. If it doesn't, then there'll be a hyperinflation of the dollar, which will mean all the dollars will be worthless. So you're either going to have a hyperinflation or a complete collapse of the government, which would be awesome, but then it'll probably be followed up by more government and stuff like that. But in either case, it's going to be bad. And this is actually really good, because when you have the people that are this brainwashed, because they think, "Oh, we're the greatest." Like, that's hilarious. One guy posted, I love this one. One guy posted, because I was on the flag peeing video, and she was saying, you know, "Screw your country." He said, "Yeah, well, your country," as though she has some other country. Like, they're They're just idiots, right? They're brainwashed. He said, hasn't gone to the moon, and he posted a photo. It's of the flag with like the shadow, two different shadows. So, it's like, so these people are completely, they're living in fantasy land. They think they went to the moon. No one went to the moon, but they think they actually went to the moon. They think they actually fought for freedom. They're like, we fought for your freedoms. Oh, did you? Well, the troops, like 50 years ago. Oh, so it wasn't actually you, but they actually imagined that was them. And they don't even know all that shit was bullshit. About every war was a lie. They weren't fighting for freedom, they're fighting for evil. So, I'm busy around here. See if I can find my Chihuahua. He's probably back at the house. Anyway. So that's basically my advice. Get away from those people. If you can't, just try to ignore them as best as you can, really. You know, it's your choice if you want to live around a bunch of insane cult people. You know, it's like if you said, hey, I live in, you know, name one of the cults, the Church of God or whatever, Children of God. I live in Children of God, and they're like raping kids all the time, and they're raping my kids. I think about getting out. It's like, oh yeah, you just thinking about it? There's Jerry, yeah. Jenny, man. Jenny. Yeah, that's my boy. Jenny, man. Muy bien, Jenny. All the dogs have to say hello to him. Muy bien, Jenny. Muy bien. What happened? Why is everyone smelling it? Wild up here. It's pure anarchy. It's pretty bad. Yeah, if you choose to live amongst cult, and it is a choice. Like a lot of the people that really love America, it's kind of funny because whenever someone doesn't like it, they're like, get out, and say stuff like, if you don't like it, you can leave. And if you leave, it's like, oh, you won't stand up for your country. It's like, well, all the people that you supposedly really admire, the founding fathers, as if that's not cult sounding enough. Are those your fathers? Oh yeah, they're my fathers. They all ran away from England, and then they fought off the government, which I totally like that part. But if you do that today, you're an anarchist, and you want to like fight off the government, even though we don't, you know, use violence. It would be justified, but they would think that's crazy now. You know, so these people are completely, absolutely deluded, brainwashed, and there's just not really much talking to them. I would just stay away from those people as much as possible. Muy bien Lara, muy bien Rango, muy bien Jerry, muy bien Bruce, y muy bien Lucy. Lucy, ven, vamos. Jerry, vamos.